Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's Saturday, ibmtv chess show, and I would like to introduce my dear guests. It's a Grandmaster, Suat Atalik,
Hi, Sasha.
and a wonderful couple, Mihail Marin, Grandmaster, and also Grandmaster, lady, his wife, Maria. Please introduce them. Hello, how are you today? Okay, Maria, it's your show now. What interesting do you have for us today?
Today I have some portraits with the with the chess guy. I very love his game. This is that.
Wow. Yeah, you could recognize.
Magic player and magic painting.
Yes, it is. It is magic. Well, you have also a card. He liked to play card games as well, as you know, and also and he loved playing roulette in a casino. You know, this famous occasion when after the Montreal tournament of stars in 1979, he traveled to New Jersey to give simultaneous chess exhibition, and after that, organizer asked him to go to have a dinner. He said, "We'll have dinner in Atlantic City. Let's go." And he was quite surprised. So they went to Atlantic City. It's not too far, and he put. And this organizer, he said, "Okay, Misha, here's $500. You can lose it, and then we'll go for dinner." He said, "That's okay." So he put $500 on black, and it comes black. So he has $1,000 now. So he said, "Oh, wonderful, let's go." Okay. Well, we just started, and he leaves $1,000 on black again, and it comes black. So now he has $2,000. So the organizer, "Well, let's run, let's go." He has let me play a little bit. So he put $2,000 on black, and it comes black again. So now he's up to $4,000, and it was on and on until he had $32,000. Now he put all these chips on red, and it comes red again. Not again, but the red comes, and he has 64,000. Now all casino was staying there, and they were watching what's happening. And organizers say, "Let's go." Oh my God, what are you doing? You put 64,000 on red again, and it comes black. He lost everything. Tao says, "Voila, now it's time to go for dinner."
What an idiot! I would say, what an idiot!
Also, among famous players who was very, very good player in roulette was Nona Gaprindashvili. She was amazing. I remember my wife now. She was playing in interzonal tournament in Manila. Not Manila, sorry, Kuala Lumpur in 1990, and Nona was playing there as well. And it was about an hour and a half drive near Kuala Lumpur, Genting Highlands. That's a place. It's up to the mountains. In July, it was very cold there because it's mountains. And there was a casino, and there were tons of Chinese players. They were all traveled there, especially to play in the casino. So Nona was playing roulette like every night she was there. It was very difficult to find a place at the table because there were all Chinese people there. But when she was coming in, the organizers usually would give her a place at the roulette table, and she had fun a lot. And then I played her backgammon, and I was winning. And she was so furious. She says, "How is it possible? This guy from Canada, he wins against me in backgammon. It's impossible. Let's play more." And so we had a lot of fun time there. Okay, so we last time we deconstructed Garry Kasparov, or we just started deconstruction of Garry Kasparov.
No, let's leave him deconstructed. You know, it's very good for the world.
Okay, as you wish. I just wanted to show just one game, where he was 13 years old. It was first time ever his game was published in Soviet chess magazines, because like before, he's a kid and nobody really paid attention to him. But this time, he was 13 years old, and he played a game which was actually published, and now millions of people, at least in Soviet Union, already figured out, okay, here is a kid, he's very strong. So now I would like to share a screen. Okay, I still remember how to do it. No worries. Just share. Okay, let me ask you, you see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So this game, Loputian, was very strong.
Really famous. Really one of his famous games. Even in Turkey, I saw it in that year.
So that was the first game of Garry Kasparov. He was 13 years old, and it was published. Okay, let's see the game. Loputian is white, and as you know, Loputian was very strong grandmaster. He was playing in all these victorious Armenian teams in Olympiads. So 13 years old Garry, he's playing very fighting opening. So Zemish variation. I don't know, have you seen the game from Nixic, where Spassky played this opening and this system against Garry and won? Very, very interesting game. But
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so the game continues. Wow. So, of course, Black is playing very speculative move, but he's getting a lot of initiative for this. And now look at this move.
Beautiful, yeah.
It's beautiful because knight cannot take, because of rook b1 isn't protected, the queen is hanging. So there is nothing else to do as to take with the pawn. Now check. Now he takes rook. Now very sneaky move, king f2. But there is another sneaky move. Sacrifice of the queen, although it's temporarily sacrifice. So a very interesting position. Black has very active pieces and exchange. However, the position is still, sorry, it's a balanced position. Okay, hold on. My mistake. Okay, we'll get in the position right away. Okay, so he's getting there. Take, and king gets 3. So how does this position look to you?
No, Black should be winning with rook c2, yeah? That,
yeah, and now?
We'll just take it, yeah.
Okay, so the position is material is equal. The pawns, of course, Black has much better pawns position. And here's what's happened in the game. And now Black plays rook e5. It's very difficult to find any plan for white, what to do here. So he's playing this move. Now he's attacking the bishop, but bishop just simply takes. And now f, pawn, all of a sudden, is deciding the game. Yeah, the problem is that rook on e5 is guarding the white's king, and now it's a very easy technique of Garry. Decides the game very quickly. So what to do now? Rook f7 is the only move, and now he's cutting down the rook. Takes bishop, and now this move wins. And white resigns. So listen, there is nothing spectacular about this game, although there were some interesting tactics. And Garry, at 13 years old, that's quite an achievement to be such a strong grandmaster at that time.
I think he's even 14, no? He's 63. He was born on.
He was 63, and I think...
Yeah, because I'm 64, and this game even was, spoken in Turkey but not for
Well, the
many.
game was played in 1976. So
76 even, not 77. But okay, but we have to understand that at that time, Luputian, also a couple of years older than him, yes? He's born in 61 or something.
yes.
Timbat, he had a really low, how to say, sense of danger in this game. And the game is very beautiful. I mean, chess is played like this. So we have to tell to our audience about New Win Chess story, maybe. But this game, if this game wouldn't exist, or this game could exist anytime to anyone, it has nothing to do with the level. With you just miss one move, you have a bad day, bad timing, and this happens to anybody, especially to Mr. Firuzia, most likely, because the ending was really simple. I don't know which side he will fall
No,
into.
actually, I haven't seen such a move, such a net gameplay, ever since a famous game of Krishan. You know Krishan probably.
With Georg Moore, the
Yes,
accomplice in the game.
yes. Okay, the difference is that in that game, in that end game, everything was wrong. I mean, move by move somehow. And
It was supposed to be wrong. I mean, the guy completely forgot playing chess, and in his best time, he scored half a point in a Balkania.
Yeah, well, I remember I beat him 6 times during our.
No, but why? There were, more people to beat him. I mean, there was this guy Bereket, Oltean. I don't know. I remember all these guys. They would beat him around the clock. He shouldn't go to your level or Barbulescu or Istrasescu or I don't know Nisipiano. None of these really good players.
But he was number 1 in the country by rating, even after Nisipiano got to the semi-final at the World Championship.
We were maybe together, and we were sharing the room in Tilburg. Then
yes.
And then really, I was watching Timman at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So the guy was higher rated than Timman, which was a shame. Like we will have all these things. I mean, we didn't speak last time so much about it, but Raus is coming back, going back. Checking out, checking in. This will always happen. But the reality is. From Kasparov to Carlsen, already they were giving very good signs when they were kids. There was every kind of symbol, like omen, these guys will become good players. And the support was there. And there were a lot of interesting factors, and everything went their way. One wrong step, the history would be changed. Not in the way Mr. Lamy wanted to have, but in another way. History really would have changed if Karpov scored the 6th win. No, we want to be.
Take it another way. Let's say the first Karpov-Kasparov match had been at 24 games.
Yeah,
I believe that
also another way, completely right.
Some years later there was this match, Karpov-Sokolov, Andrei Sokolov, and. Sokolov was, he had some very good years. He even beat Karpov before the match.
Obviously, in the Bugoyna.
Yes, but then the match was scheduled. I don't remember, at 14 games, I believe, best out of 14.
Short match in some way, and
but it was only kind of.
But wait a moment, Karpov crushed him in that match.
Yes, +4. He won 4 games and he didn't lose any. And after that, Sokolov actually ceased to exist. He was number 3 in the world. He had beaten Karpov. And after that match, he just slowly went down.
Speaking of Sokolov, Andrei Sokolov, not Andrei Sokolov.
Did I say Ivan?
Sokolov is another case.
Don't forget that Sokolov was very lucky to beat Yusupov. He was losing match 6-4.
But he
and
had
he won
he had the strength to come back. Okay, that's the point. And let's imagine that the match Karpov-Kasparov at the result of plus. Okay, actually, Karpov had +4 with Sokolov out of less than 14, because the match finished earlier, out of 11 games.
That's right.
4. Against Kasparov, he had +4 out of 9 games. So it was even more convincing. Imagine that the match was limited. Kasparov would have tried something because, okay, he was losing any draw doesn't work. He would have lost very badly. And probably despite...
Look,
yes.
The point is that we know Andrei quite well. I mean, I happen to know Andrei quite well, and I played with Andrei. You know, this is... do you remember Ryumin?
Do you remember? Yes, but a very old player, yes?
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't exist anymore. But
no, I mean, from
and where is our Mr. Tkachov? Is there any signs of life of Vlad Tkachov these days? The problem with Andrei was from Ryumin to Sokolov. You know, it was the not carrying the torch, but carrying the bottle.
yes.
About something, you know. So now the level of the games were really high, much better than, you know, Karpov-Kasparov games. Actually, Sokolov pulled out very strong fight, but he did, for instance, he lost this in a couple of games in his Queen's Indian. He had really he couldn't understand. Somehow Karpov had the ability to play beyond the imagination at that time. He was Karpov like Karpov. It's one of the iron hand matches of Karpov, actually. And he scored everything, you know. He scored all the Karokans, he scored all these Queen's Indians, and Sokolov had a bad day. And even that could be changed.
But remember that what Garry Kasparov wrote in his book, My Great Predecessors, about Karpov, that when he lost his world championship to Kasparov in 1985, Karpov started to work very, very hard on chess. He revamped his opening repertoire. He became more aggressive, and his level of play, surprisingly, started to go much higher than ever before. So by 86, 87, Karpov was playing as strong as never before. So yes, he still had difficult time to defeat Kasparov, but people like Sokolov. Well, look, Karpov demolished him, although Sokolov was a pretty good player by all means.
No, Sokolov was clearly, I mean, Sokolov was a little bit okay. I remember 1986 Dubai Olympiad. It was a glorious team on the paper. You got number one in the world, Kasparov, number two, Karpov the second, Sokolov the third, then Yusupov, who lost to Sokolov, and you got Vaganyan, who was also a candidate, and the black sheep of the family.
He also lost to Sokolov.
Who?
No, Vaganyan also lost to Sokolov in the quarterfinals.
Yes, he also lost, and he was a candidate. I mean, he lost a very wavy match. There are a lot of interesting games and stuff. And really, Seshkovsky was the Soviet champion. And they played very bad. I remember Sokolov losing to Nan, falling into something like Lasker Pirts.
Yes.
He almost the same, a little bit different.
No, at least Pirts developed his G8 right. At least, yeah.
I don't know if Sokolov did also some moves like he was.
No. But he played the same stuff with the knight on G8. So even worse.
He lost the tempo down in transition.
No, he didn't lose the tempo, but he just started play with the knight on G8. The same knight A5, knight C4, yes, but with the knight on G8 to be sure.
I don't know what was his frame of mind. You know, you have to understand. You have to go very deep when we all speak about serious players. You know, from from Blackburn to Sokolov or whoever is. They are very emotional people. I had some speeches about Bonio Ivanovic, who was there also. I was there, but Ivanovic and me, we knew each other better, and Ivanovic knew obviously Sokolov better. But now you understand that his father was a very important guy in Soviet Union, and so he could. Yes. He thought like he could say anything to anyone, and he was hanging around. You know, he could never clean up his act. And it was sure that some moment something would have broken in him.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Still, it's a very, very strong player. Really strong.
Those couple of years he was extremely strong. 86.
Still, you know, it's just nothing changed with his knowledge. But you know, he cannot. The match affected him, and he really cannot channelize. I will give another example. I'm more friendly with him, and it's good for us that we don't see each other these days much. But Yepyshin.
Who?
Yepyshin, Vladimir Yepyshin.
Vladimir Yepyshin, yes. He was second to Anatoly Karpov at some
Well,
match.
I don't know who was second in whom, but Yepyshin and Karpov, they became like, Austin Powers and Mini-Me at some moment. I mean, Dr. Evil and Mini-Me rather than Austin Powers. And he was really playing like Karpov. He was really, winning tournaments everywhere. It continued for a while. But then all of a sudden he started to glide down, but it will happen with everyone. Everyone. I mean, that's why somehow for me it's important the games. I don't care who played them.
So what I wanted to ask your opinion, we just talked about Kasparov when he was 13 years old and saw a couple of games of his. How you compare Karpov at 13 years old with a Carlsen of 13 years old? How would you compare them?
Well, I played with Carlsen when he was 14 or 15, I believe. He already was very high rated. But I must confess, I was looking at him. I didn't understand what he was doing. Okay, he suffered the whole game with white and somehow he saved. I mean, he didn't really look like a genius to me. But he has this strength of saving, not saving, holding an unpleasant position with white. So I believe that, generally speaking, you cannot compare Carlsen with Karpov. I mean, you look at Carlsen,
about 13 years old Karpov. I mean, what was so spectacular about 13 years old?
I believe it. No. At 13,
You're talking about 13 years old Kasparov.
Kasparov.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very difficult question. I mean, we have a good example. 13 years old Strasescu would have stolen both guys' money from their pocket, and he was much better than maybe 13 years Topolov.
Yeah, but it is not so. Of course, it's not so important. The important thing is how they play at an advanced age. For instance,
maybe it is not so good to be that good at 13 years old. This is something people forget these years. Maybe you don't have to go that high when you are 13 years old.
Well, in any case, there was I showed it before, this New In Chess latest magazine I just got, and there is a very interesting article by Grandmaster Erwin L'Ami, and he's talking about that is it a new generation, and he's talking about chess-wise, a lot has changed as well. Magnus Carlsen is excellent. Is the exponent of a new generation that is extremely good at handling small advantages. Positions that would have been drawn without much ado 30 years ago turn out to contain more venom than previously thought. This is one of the areas in which the current top players are far stronger than the previous generation. So he's talking about that the top 100 players of today would certainly beat the top 100 players of 30 years ago, and with quite a margin. So I'm started to think about, so who was playing chess 30 years ago? So we had, of course, Kasparov, who just beat Karpov in their match. We had the new generation coming up, which are Ivanchuk, Gelfand, Topalov, Leko, and tons of very, very strong players at the time.
We still had Korchnoi in the picture.
Oh, Korchnoi was still there.
And Korchnoi, at the age of 80, he just smashed Caruana. But nobody remembers this. I mean, he said, okay, it happened. Yeah. No, but he smashed him with black. I mean, it was just like this, But people don't listen to this.
Let's talk about something practical aspects. Of course, we cannot bring today's players 30 years ago and the same 30 years ago players to bring today. It's impossible. So the only thing is, what evidence we have of their level of play is their games. However, speaking about their games, games which were played 30 years ago, they were played on very, very high level. However, remember, it was still before computers affected all game of chess, and very seriously. I think there are three stages of computers involvement in chess. Stage number one, it was already by 1990. People were using computer just as a database. So instead of carrying stack of cards and shows this guy plays this opening, okay, this guy, oh, okay, he's playing this type of openings or so on. Now computers could store millions of games, so people would just go to computer and see what this guy's playing and so on. That's first stage. Second stage became when computer became much stronger. So they were analyzing some lines with the computer. So let's see, Kasparov is preparing Najdorf in Sicilian, and he's going into 10, 12, 15 moves or so on, and he's checking with the computer what would be the optimal strategy, what is the best move in this particular position or so on. That's the second stage. The third stage, this AlphaZero and the even Stockfish and all these programs are way much stronger than even World Champion. So the third stage is when people like Carlsen himself, they are studying chess from AlphaZero and the other strongest programs. They are studying their method of play, and if you see many, if not all, Carlsen games, they're all based on strategies and openings of AlphaZero, maybe some Stockfish as well. So if today's, of course, people who played chess in the 90s, they didn't have luxury to learn chess from computers, from AlphaZero, so they had to learn and study chess by themselves. Wouldn't even check with computers, so they had their seconds, they had their friends who help. But it's completely different situation now, where people are just put strongest computer programs like AlphaZero and study the chess and methods of playing right from the strongest programs. So therefore, it's very difficult to compare how strong players were in 30 years ago and today.
I see two important aspects here. First of all, okay, like, as Tal once said, we are all amateurs, little, because okay, this works. I mean, we love what we are doing, and okay, even grandmasters and world champions. But so the important thing is which games inspire you most. I mean, if you want to just to study some games, which games would you pick up? And to me, it's obvious that it's the classical games. I mean, there are so many. It's practically unlimited wealth of
like Rubinstein.
Anyone.
Okay.
Anyone before Kasparov? No, in some way, Mihail. This is what you mean.
Sorry.
Anyone before Kasparov? I mean,
yes.
Before.
Yes. I mean, okay, not only Fischer or Karpov or Kasparov, but also Holmov or Stein, or now I'm a little bit into Simagin. Oh, I mean, okay, if this makes me pleasure and I feel that I learned something, then it is important. Secondly, okay, let's take two guys from two different periods. Let's take a Porsche driver and compare him with a horseback rider, from the far west. Of course, the Porsche driver is faster. But let's compare their physical strength. I think that the Porsche driver has no chance if compared to the guy riding all day long on the horseback. So if we think of these guys who are sitting, I mean, okay, including myself actually, who am I am now. I mean, sitting at the computer and looking at the positions with the hinges. And any of the guys who did this by himself, then of course I would vote for a higher mental strength of the past guys. So yeah, but of course it's subjective. It's subjective.
Just my blunt or amateur opinions. If we take Mihail or Suat. And give him just a couple of months for the preparing with the book, with the laptop, I don't know, and bring him on the top tournament. I know he beats some top guys. So it's normal. It's easy for for this guy, this generation guy, and it's true.
No, what she means that if I and Swat, we had time to dedicate only to chess. Okay, I'm writing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm just studying all the time chess. I'm a very bad example for Maria's good willing, But look, the point is not that. I mean, the point is a little bit we are getting carried away. The point is that who really cares? For a very long time, there were always this closed circuit on the top, no matter which time. And people had difficulties to carry themselves in. And what we have spoken before, one implication is when Karpov and Kasparov, they were playing each other, they pulled each other into some really high level. So they were really different than Sokolov, Yusupov, and whoever. And their matches with these people were, no matter what happens, basically for Karpov, in his late age, he was really beating them. Or with Tim Marin. It really didn't matter, And now, I don't know, it will continue in this way. I mean, Lamy's infamous statement will really kill our day to talk about this. Now, I want to talk something about early age. And I want to talk not about this computer or AlphaZero. I think, first of all, I seriously think that Carlsen cannot prepare with anything. Carlsen has a team which prepares things for him.
Probably very good.
And then he takes critical decisions. It didn't change either. Karpov had the same thing. Kasparov was a little bit more active into that. And Kasparov was really more challenging because he was challenging the people in his team. And his team was chosen much more carefully. There was this guy, Nikitin, super trainer. Well, he was a family friend. We all know what was his role, what was his relation with certain people, which is very important for Kasparov. He got Timoshchenko, who is a great player.
That Timoshchenko actually did not very nice things
to Karpov. So his role was just sitting there. And now he had some certain guys. They were changing all the time, but from Azmay Parashvili to Dolmatov. Then at the end, he had this guy Dohoyan, but times changed and, the expenses and the regimes changed. He couldn't draft anyone but we understand that his life was pre-planned. Kasparov's life was pre-planned. So was for Carlsen. Just from the beginning. I remember myself seeing this kid for the first time. It was the last round of some San Vincent tournament where I really did quite well. Okay, I beat this guy, Chatalbashev, who won the Grand Prix. And I don't know, I just beat Korchnoi and that. Actually, Korchnoi has beaten Miladinovic. And then Stefanova, whom I was training at that time, we were about to start for the training. She comes and she says, I am playing with an interesting person. And says, there is a kid, he travels with his family. He's really, a lot of energy and time and money spent on him. And there is a kid with not tough type of, beak, I would call, not even a chin, sitting there. Extremely unpleasant kid. And really, he beats Stefanova. I don't remember whatever happened. And she comes, I lost. And I could see this flock of people, tons of sisters, I don't know how many of them. From that moment on, this thing worked for him. Actually, the parents, now we have to speak about Kasparov's mother, Carlsen's father, it's, or Judith Polgar's father. I mean, Papa Polgar is some guy I really dislike. I don't like it. I mean, sorry for Mihail's contribution for the family and their success, but they all say he's a great psychologist, whatever. It's somebody promised. You don't speak any language, especially you don't speak any English. You are zero in psychology. Even
Actually, we had some conversation in English. For instance, 2 or 3 times a day when I was training with Susan, that was a long time ago. He came to me so radiant and he said, "Budapest good?"
I mean, what was the name of the guy? Not Iliescu, not who wrote this Rhinoceros, but this Ionescu, the guy who succeeded Ceausescu, I guess. He said sometime, it really reminded me that he said, we all come from ducks and trucks. And he wanted Russians and Russians, you know. We all came from ducks and trucks. So Bulgar and the education really made me think that we all come from ducks and trucks. But it worked for him.
No, he had a very big merit, actually. I mean,
definitely. Whatever the means were, from whiplash to law, you know, to this paternal law, it really worked. He did everything. And then you know, the problem is we got some people who cannot really sustain this kind of energy. That's why Kasparov quit earlier. Polgar quit way earlier. And you will see that Carlsen will also quit. He will lose his mojo at some moment and he will just simply quit. Because there is always everything prepared. And this is not just, in my opinion, Alpha Zero, whatever. I mean, he's everything's coming with a golden spoon. He has always a team of people. And these people are not challenging him. In some way, his people reminds me of Karpov's people. Karpov always dominated his people, Podgaets, Zaitsev, you know, Yepeshin, Anishchuk, Elvest. Always Karpov was the boss. There was never some sort of controversy. There was never somebody who would challenge him. Now, who does the other one have? Who does the other one have? You know, Fresine, extremely easygoing guy. Every time I see Fresine, he smiles. You know, I mean, I never see angry as Fresine. I can never imagine Fresine telling him like, "Look, you can't play like this." Never. Nielsen, I know him since his childhood. We played in 1991 in Chelyabinsk. You know, like he was always a kid. You know, or Predoevich, or some other people who comes and goes. Always easygoing, you know. Do they have anything to tell? They are just preparing in a nice way, and it really works for him. But then at some moment, you know, if people gets old, and many people, just look at Aronian. These people are running away. Sargsyan, Malcolmian is always, you know, ending up into the freedom, liberty. And he is changing.
But he has a very special sense of humor, actually, Aronian.
I bet on it.
You know, Suat, you mentioned Karpov's team, and you mentioned Mikhail Podgaets. I knew him very well. He's also from Odessa. And when Nava and I left Odessa to go to Canada, we had our own apartment in Odessa. And the Podgaets moved in after we left. So he moved in and he lived for many, many years, probably before he passed away. Unfortunately, he lived in that apartment. And we met a few times. We met once in New York when Karpov was playing Garry Kasparov for World Championship. And Misha Podgaets, he was very, very secretive. We arranged to meet, but somewhere so nobody could see us, because he was afraid that if Soviet officials still would find out that he's meeting us, maybe he's trying to give us some variations or preparations or so on. So I didn't care about all that stuff. But anyway, we met, we had a nice time together. And what I remember, it's a very famous game when Podgaets, it was a Soviet championship for young masters, and it was held in Odessa. And Misha Podgaets, he was playing Kuprechik, and Misha Podgaets had very good position but short of time. So he said, "Yeah, okay, it's a draw." So Kuprechik said, "So are you offering a draw?" He said, "Yes." He said, "Okay, make your move." But Guide said, if I will make my move, there will be no draw. So Kuprinch says, then I agree.
But I have a great Podgate story, a very sad one for you.
Mm.
You know, like I was with Podgate in Cuba.
Mm-hmm.
So I played this, whatever, you know, Elite at that time, and Podgate plays the B tournament, which was already quite strong. The C tournament was won by young Vallejo Ponce, and he was already pretty good. And Podgate, he's just like Fresine, always smiles. He's really genuinely good-hearted guy. You know, he's in Cuba, he's already old, and he's looking for his GM title. Not Rose's style or whoever's style. He's looking at the fair style, you know. And he's going really good in the B tournament, and then something terrible happens to him. Some woman busts his place. So there's a knock at the door, and Podgate will play this game for the Grandmaster title, and he's, I don't know, whatever years old. You know, he was already old, and opens the door. There is a beautiful Cuban lady. Says like, "Could I come in?" Podgate says, "You know, Grandmaster Norm tomorrow, important game. No, but I should come in." And she actually put her leg in between the threshold, you know, in this. Just didn't allow the door to be shut. And Podgate couldn't sleep. I don't know, whatever. He just, I think he got rid of. You know, he was really very, very serious. I mean, he was really a team player, but he made the draw and couldn't make Grandmaster Norm. And I think he never became Grandmaster unless
he never became Grandmaster. But he was a very good player.
He was good.
Yeah. Especially, he was very strong in black in Caracan defense. He won a lot of beautiful games with the black pieces. And actually, I think he suggested to Karpov to play Caracan defense, because Karpov didn't really play Caracan that much. But then he started to play Caracan defense, and he was quite successful. He
was good with many openings, but somehow, looking at all these games with Kasparov, he had problems when Kasparov opened the game with either with E4 or either with D4. You know, I mean, who was talking about it? I think it was Dorfman. I think Dorfman was giving the better insight. Now they summon up this guy Mihail Chishin. I think he was simply standing somewhere in the corner. You know, but Dorfman, being, you know, more methodical and a little bit more. You know, he was telling that, for instance, in Nimzo Indian, Karpov lost some terrible games. And he was an open target, and he could change once in a while. He could score something. But when he was white, well, it was another story. Then really, Kasparov couldn't play for an equal game. I just started to play a match with my wife. I played a lot of matches these days, you know, and... okay, after 4 games, I am leading 3.5-half.
Oh.
Very normal, yeah.
Very
just 4-0, but the last game, okay, I had some trouble, you know, like, and I think it is one of the worst qualities these days that we don't see anymore with the people, and also computer kills it. Now you have to defend a slightly worse position. First of all, you cannot stand being slightly worse. Second, you want to keep some chances for yourself. After all, everyone plays in these tournaments that he has to score something, and against adversary that he has to intimidate. And now we don't have defenders. Mr. Lamy's statement is wrong for many different reasons. Tell me one good defender from our day. I mean, not Firuzia, please.
It's funny that I just received the suggestion from Rai Tishbirek. He's the editor of Schach, German magazine. Oh, I have written many articles for him. And now he said, after he saw the game Caruana Carlsen, when Carlsen saved the game, that he was thinking, what if I would write an article about tough defense? also with the games from the past, but to show how computers changed everything, and everybody now defends better. And then I answered to him, okay, I am glad to write an article about defense, a great defensive game taken from the times of maybe even Anderson, but maybe Lasker, maybe. Okay. But I'm not sure they're defending better now because no, I did something more like a metaphor. I said something about this, that now we don't walk, we go by car, but this does not mean we are stronger physically. So, and then he answered, okay, just to be sure. I mean, I meant that you prove that today they are defending better. I mean,
no, of course not.
and I said, no, this was exactly what I will not write. I mean, I can't take good defensive games of our days, but I will never say that nowadays they are doing it better.
No, Mihail is completely right. Mihail is completely right. Two things shouldn't be. We shouldn't be confused about two things. What Mihail says is very important, actually. In this game, Carlsen Caruana, there were missed opportunities. This is not what we meant. What we meant is something like Bogolivov Lasker type of end game. That Lasker pulls out a good defense when he's defending against rook and two pawns with two minor pieces. Always changes, even starts having something or whatever. We spoke some other time his game about his namesake or remote relative, the other Lasker with knight against rook and pawn. Something technically slightly worse. And I would say, like, for instance, probably one of the last really versatile player was Kamsky. After Kamsky, I never seen somebody who would sit behind the worst position and defend in the way, not like the other side, continue, to miss a lot of clear wins or opportunities. Alternating the defense.
Sure, but remember, Carlsen said many times that he doesn't believe in fortress, that if he has advantage, he will crush any position. So is it because he has like incredible technique, or because other players are not defending well? What do you think?
Well, in between certain things. What I would like to say, like, I will give a particular game. When I saw that he played some Tal Memorial, and when we were talking about him, like now it is talk about Firuzia or any other talent, that he lost rook and pawn against rook ending with Aronian. Aronian played somewhere a tricky rook d6, where controversially, the best move is king g6. There is a pawn separating them on e6. And Carlsen didn't have the knowledge, but then he understood. I believe that about certain things, everything is within the frame of dictatorship. If he dictates well his team, then his team is very productive. Otherwise, okay, Fresine, Nielsen, Radevich, it's another team. If he's really dictating well at the moment or in those times, and he had the attacking technique. And it is right. He really doesn't believe in the fortresses. And he has this, it turned out to be the case that he had this talent. I played some YKZ tournament, the B tournament, and Yarmo and Salov, they played the A tournament. And every night we were going to Horse Club, some restaurant there in YKZ. And we are not vegetarians, obviously, and every night we were analyzing our games. And this analysis, just like if you play with Karpov, it turns out the same case. It becomes like a game. So on one side, me and Yarmo, on the other side, Valery Salov. We couldn't stop the guy. With very small amount of material there. Okay, Salov is a friend of mine. He's from my generation. We worked together in World Juniors, World Cadets. The guy was absolutely unstoppable.
Do you think he would win Erwin Lamy? Do you think Salov would win?
Sorry?
Well, let's not make it personal with Lamy. Lamy I played. Lamy is decent, but Salov of that time is Salov, obviously, Fibrin.
You know what the paradox about Salov is? This thing about, if we talk about fortresses. Salov sometimes, he played for a fortress. I mean, he would sacrifice, for instance, the queen for a rook and knight or something, and he would go for a fortress. And he would think that he would just stay there and wait for the game to end in a draw, which would be somehow objectively right. But no, he gets into a fortress and he plays it for a win, and he usually won. I mean, he was theoretically inside the fortress. I mean, usually the player outside the fortress should think to win, to break through. No, but he would come with his fortress over you, over the opponent.
That was very dangerous, very dangerous. Not only in the horse-press turret, like at some moment we really gave up, and there is a chess set. The waiter brings you. I think one of the last nights I said, like, come on, Valia, get out of here. We will never play. We will never analyze our games with you. And he was really laughing,
By the way, okay. I don't know why Erwin wrote this. I believe that, okay, generation thinks, okay, we are the best. But personally speaking, I believe that, okay, of course, if you compare with the computer, let's take like this. Okay, the Nightingale and the Crow, they make this singing contest. Of course, for many of us, it's clear who should win. But okay, if you take the pick as a then it's not clear. So okay, these players nowadays, they play the first 20-25 moves according to the computers. And when people are trying to analyze comparatively the games of today and the games of the past, they use the computer to it because they already cannot do it mentally. They cannot understand what the players from the past were doing. So they take the computer as an arbiter. And of course, the first 35 moves are 100% correct, the best. And then even though the other people would play better start, when on their own, this would not influence that much the percentage of perfect moves. So,
Michael, something else I'd like to mention. We could probably agree with him if he would talk about 10 best players today and 10 best players of 1990s. But he's talking about 100. If you will take today's chess, not even today, like today, we are talking about, let's see, last 5 years, for example, right? So we have elite super players, 2,800 or so. They're all playing the Carlsen tournaments, and they played Grand Chess Tour tournaments. So they were isolated from the rest of the world. They were like in a bubble, playing against each other all the time. So their rating would always be high as 2,800 or close to it. Now, people of 30 years ago, they were competing in all kinds of tournaments, the national championships. They were playing interzonals, they were playing tournaments after tournaments. Even, I want to tell you something that just came to my mind, that I remember Mihail Tal, who was very early already, he was a genius player or so. In 1955, when he was 18 years old, and he was already pretty strong, he was still a candidate master. And they wouldn't give him a title of a master in Soviet Union before he would play a match against some player by the name Smagin or
with S, something with S.
Smagin, I think, yeah?
No,
something, I forgot.
I remember the match, but he never played the match.
And well, they played the match, and Tal won the match, and because of that, he was awarded master, not grandmaster. Forget it, master. So become a master, he got to be the guy in a match, and that guy was like Smag. No, what's his name? Smagin. I forgot his name. Anyway,
more German name than Russian one.
Yes. No, but for instance, also okay, Kotov. Alexander Kotov. Okay, he was some sort of war hero because he invented some weapon. He finished very well the university. Okay, he was some sort of very, very clever guy in many things. And he was a candidate of master.
From Tula.
Sorry?
Right.
From Tula. From the city of Tula, not even from Moscow or something.
Yes. And then he realized that, okay, I decided to give it a try. And if I don't become a master until the age of 30, then I drop chess. Actually, I think it was not that simple because, okay, the Soviet government invested into his education, and he said that he was working 10 hours a day on chess. So, I mean, okay, who would allow this? I mean, I think he already was recruited as a KGB agent.
Of
But
course.
very
No,
soon
but not necessarily KGB. Look, I can tell you a very similar example like Kotov, yeah?
No, but
Baburin.
he then very soon became a grandmaster, and then he won the
Baburin, when I saw Baburin first time, he was really playing very strong. And he knew many languages and nobody invested him. He was not part of, it's a big country. Just before the show, we were talking, once I dared to say to Yarmolinsky, I said like, wow, Soviet Union, a lot of good players. He looked at me very strange. He said like, yeah, but you realize that there were much more bad players than the good players. And there were every kind of person. You just mentioned Holmov, for instance. The guy was working with his hands. Well, I mean,
let's face it, you cannot have good players without having bad players, because if there are no bad players, how you will get good players? It's impossible.
But Kotov, really miraculous. This 1938 championship, the guy comes and just he was second or shared second, whatever, in the Soviet championship. He has his method of thinking, and he had I think your Simagin had a very bad influence.
Oh, by the way, you wanted to show a game of Simagin, Mikhail. Would you like
I wanted to, maybe I just show the critical moment.
Okay, anything would be interesting. He had a lot of interesting games, Simagin.
How can I can, okay, like this. And okay, I will just go here. I have to, no, sorry.
You have to share the screen.
I have to share the screen. Share screen, and now how to make it bigger? Okay. Tot ecranul, okay. Oh, what? Why doesn't it want to do that?
It's not shared yet.
No, but the send. Okay. No, for some reason it doesn't. Okay. Okay, now, okay, and I have to go here. Do you see it now?
Yes.
Okay.
Excellent.
No, this is just, okay, the game had some interesting moments before, but of course, White just went wrong a few moves ago.
No, this is the Grunfeld game with Queen D7 and H4, yeah?
No, it was Queen A4 check C6. Oh, we can look at it after.
Okay. So it's with Chistiakov.
But he's black, and apparently he's in some big trouble here. And he found because E7 is hanging, Queen D7 is coming, G6 is hanging, and the rook is attacked actually. To start with. So apparently he's in big trouble, and actually. It's interesting because during the whole game, he mainly played on dark squares. His queen was on D6 earlier. The knight on A5 is a bit passive, but still stable. The bishop, okay, the C3 square is important. And now he makes a move. I mean, okay, this B6, A7, knight A5, they seem to be very important as a structure.
Mm-hmm.
And then the guy makes the move B5.
What?
Which is the only saving move. And I know. The funny thing is that if he had played this one move earlier, we can see then it would even win. But now, okay, now the point is that there are things to control with White. I mean, C2 needs.
Yeah, there is no more Queen E8 in case of rook leaves. Yeah.
If bishop B5, then it's some sort of
rook C3.
Rook C3, and it's some sort of a draw. Yeah, he has perpetual queen, something like that.
G3, no.
Yes.
F3.
Yes, he went. Okay, if Queen A5, then it's very bad. I think Rook C2, and it's over.
Yeah.
rook c2, and there is no king e1 because of bishop c3. But he went queen b5. Queen b5, which is already losing, but now he didn't find the best moves. Okay, check is right. Okay, yes, and now actually here he missed a win, but he played queen c3, and somehow the game was unclear and it ended in a draw. Okay, we can see how it went. He got to some ending, something like this, and now check. Yeah, no, if he takes the rook, then it's dangerous. I mean, rook a1, king c2, rook g1, king takes c3 is very dangerous.
Pawn runs.
Yeah. No, that's dangerous. Okay. Now he cannot go to c1 because knight b3 mate. Okay. So okay, he took here. The position is somehow unclear. It was a draw. But yeah, we have to go back here. Actually, here apparently this move would have won. That's but this is somehow not so easy to spot here. And now king d3 is the most natural move. Yeah, and now knight b3. Actually, this is not so easy to spot because okay, for instance, if now the set is queen d2 followed by queen c3 mate. The point is that okay, if you go like this,
king h6.
Nothing happens, you know. And now the bishop is hanging. And
but rook takes g6 is not a draw.
Rook takes g6, but it's without check.
With king h7, still it's is there a mate somewhere?
Rook g6. Let's say.
Knight c5 or queen d2, king c4.
Maybe knight c5. Yes.
Maybe knight c5 and
go here.
But I cut the bishop h6 also. You don't have bishop h6 now.
So let's see. Let's go one. Okay, rook g6 is interesting. Queen d2.
Because I also protect my bishop on a6.
But is this okay here?
We will turn around
and nothing, yes, and no mate.
Okay, knight d4 check, king k4, and yeah, also probably I don't know. Because we will turn around the knight. So I don't know.
No, but then it's a perpetual probably, no. But maybe this check, yes.
King k4.
Take the rook.
King a4 and to take the rook.
King b4 in case.
Knight plus. Knight plus.
No, but isn't there a perpetual? It's a perpetual. No, it's a perpetual. Yes. So there is no mate here, yeah, because of that rook.
No, I mean, I don't know. The rook protects.
It's like this. Okay. This and now I will take the rook.
Yeah, now you will have really okay, but this is
okay.
Yeah.
No, it's very difficult to see. It's very difficult to see actually. Yes, but it's very. Let me see. How can I reactivate? How can I go?
Take the very left button, very left. Okay, return it. Okay, now you're at the beginning of the game. You can press any moves that you want to start with.
Okay. Just to I will just show.
Lower.
No. Okay. I will just show the game quickly. Okay. It started like King's Indian, but it wasn't. And now he plays c6, which actually looks like a loss of time because he will have to take to play c5 anyway later. But actually, it's not that simple. Okay, and now castle, and now we have Chistiakov. Okay. Let's turn this like this. Yeah. Okay. Actually, one interesting aspect is that this extra tempo of white is not necessarily so good, because now d5 is not played with the queen on d1. d5 is the main line, but now d5 doesn't work because of bishop c3 check, bishop d2, bishop takes d2, and you don't have queen takes d2. If knight d2, then knight d4, and I'm a pawn up and I have a knight on d4. If king d2, then anything, e6. Okay.
If king d2, we would have this program.
Yeah. Okay, so no, here basically bishop g4 would have been better immediately, so that it doesn't allow d5. He didn't play so well, and now probably bishop d7. Okay, this phase he didn't play so well. Actually, he got into some trouble, and white played some sound chess. I mean, okay, is this attack. Okay, king f1, very good move. Yes, and now, okay, now if he plays bishop e3, it's kind of over because he doesn't have all kind of perpetual checks mechanism. But of course, he was very tempted by this move. He went here. And now, okay, now if he goes queen d7, there is a perpetual, queen h3, and there are checks from both sides. So he cannot avoid the perpetual. But he played for a win with bishop here. And now, okay, in the game, he went queen h3, rook g2, and then b5. And actually, the funny thing is that b5 seems to be winning here, one move earlier, because it's very important. You can keep the queen h3 thing in reserve. b5 because, okay, f2 is attacked. Actually, I have looked a lot on my board. I didn't understand everything. Then I checked a bit with the computer. But, you know, it's very... for instance, what I could work out on the board was that if this, then rook c2. Yes, it gives both rook c2 and bishop d4. As, yes, there was something like if queen e1, then I guess bishop d4. Well, just a moment. There was some interesting line where the pawn on h4 was important. I believe it was after. Let me check if I remember it. So no, I should look at the chess base because like this. Just a moment. Which was the line? So b5 right away. No. It was bishop b5. Yes, bishop b5. Yeah, that's something. Oh, where are we? Okay, bishop b5. Yeah, I saw the idea, but I didn't understand that it's working. Knight c4 is the right move because you want to go bishop d4, and then if this, then bishop d4. Yes, he has to go. Yes, if queen c2, then rook takes c4.
Rook c4, yes.
Okay, so he has to do something like this. And now you have to first take this pawn. It's very important. Okay, go here or on g2, then you go here, then you go here. Now he has to, no, and now he has rook g2, and you go rook takes c4.
Oh, d1, yeah.
Yes, it is important that he doesn't have the
crucial check, yeah.
Because here he doesn't have a perpetual. Because otherwise queen e7 followed by queen g5 would be a perpetual, but the pawn on h4 is missing. So this was important.
No, really beautiful. No, really.
Yeah, no, but okay. This didn't happen in the game, but he saw the idea of b5. Only that he played it one move later, which was correct, but it should have been only a draw. But anyway, I mean, it's a fantastic move. I mean, how do I stop sharing the screen now?
You
already did.
Okay. So now, yeah, no, but this b5, I mean, okay, everything had been on dark squares, and the knight was not so great on a5, but still, in the group field, it has this stability. I mean, b6, a7, and the light squares were all white. I mean, okay, who would challenge white on? And then you go b5. Your rook is attacked.
That's what makes chess such a beautiful game. This is because it's kind of.
But nothing changed from computer to these times. Nothing changed. Actually, I've seen such a move by Arbakov. You know, I was playing one Capella Granta. We were playing on the stage, and okay, Arbakov was also playing on the stage that day. I played really this guy who is much better player in my opinion, Makarov. He's the husband of Diomina as well. Yeah, okay. He's a good trainer from Siberian city of I think Novgorod or wherever. No, not Novgorod, obviously. Not Tomsk and Omsk, not Krasnoyarsk. What is the top fourth city?
Krasnoyarsk, I think.
No, the bigger one.
Novosibirsk.
Novosibirsk. He's from Novosibirsk. Now, really, Arbakov played a move the piece could be taken, I don't know how many ways. And okay, just Makarov choose one way and he lost. I mean, this is the game. It doesn't matter. And Arbakov and computers absolutely no relationship. You know, this guy couldn't find the button to turn on a computer.
Because Arbakov was a famous blitz player at his
So
time.
Arbakov was another guy like Holmov. He was working with that. You know, he was a construction worker who was not afraid of heights.
Uh-huh.
So the guy was not afraid of anything. He was a mental case of his, obviously, but you know,
he beat me, by the way, long time. Arbakov. Yes.
so it's a
And he
surprise.
beat me in a good moment. He beat me, I believe, when shortly after I won the zonal tournament in Stara Zagora. So I was not really a weak player.
Mhm.
I see. Or was it
Okay,
one?
but he was. I mean, he couldn't sustain. He never won a real tournament, but whatever. He had beautiful games. He had his results. I watched some of their blitz matches with Svitan. You know, who is
Just before I forget, because you said that Kotov had a good team and Simagin didn't. Actually, it's more.
what did I say?
You said that earlier. You said about Kotov that he
No. I said like you know that Simagin was trainer of Kotov for a while.
Yeah, no, yes, you
Yeah,
know.
and I think he was from the city of Elektromotors. You know, this Simagin, very close to Moscow.
He was first working with Kotov and then with Smyslov, Simagin.
Yes, and the work for Kotov didn't really work because Kotov was a very aggressive player. And Simagin was something like Bronstein. Actually, this game between Chistiakov and Simagin really made me very dizzy because Chistiakov was also some sort of opening genius. You know, he's the guy single-handedly made the French opening. And this guy made group fat. So it was a match and they had this game. I will seriously look at this game. I understood a little bit of this. Check down, you know, B5.
You know, what I read about, what I read about Arbakov I think in Gena Sosonka, one of his books, I read about him that he was extremely strong blitz player. He could crush almost anybody in blitz, and he won many blitz tournaments. And when the borders opened, the Soviet Union collapsed, and the border opened, and he could travel or so on. So somebody suggested to him, "Why don't you play normal chess? Because you can go abroad and you will make more money and so on." So he started to practice and play.
It's a little bit exaggerated. He was not a bad player, but you understand. For instance, I played this guy Chepukaitis.
Oh, he was very good.
Well, I mean, the guy was insane. I would say, like he was even summoned up to this Karpov camp. Karpov was playing blitz with him. It was just his wife was from Moldavia or whatever. She ran away to Spain at some moment, whatever.
No, Maria has a story about this because Chepukaitis at 70, he married again with a young wife. And
I think this is the young wife I used to know. And she's from Moldova.
From Moldova.
And she told her, look, Maria Andreevna, every man has a choice to marry a wise, a clever woman or a beautiful woman. Somehow with me it happened the latter.
No, he was really gentle. I played him in St. Petersburg, and I don't know. He tried to give me some gift, and I was very, aggressive before the game. I said, I don't have any gift from you. We got some game. He had some playing qualities, but once again, we come down to this thing that everyone talks about the system. Everyone talks about computer design. That at the end of the day, it's a game. At the end of the day, we all have our shortcomings. No matter how much.
It's a battle between two men. I mean, okay, if it's about and this counts.
This I will tell to my wife. The next game it's between two men, man to man. But it's really in some way,
two personalities. Let's say two personalities.
In some way, it's something doctrinal. We always try to attach something to somewhere. I mean, I don't want to badmouth Mr. Lamy, but he tries to make a big picture. You know, there is this Alpha Zero. You train with Alpha Zero, and then the first 100 players are better, and then the first 100 players of a certain time is better than the first 100 players of something. It doesn't really work in this way. After all, it's a game. You decompose, you analyze, you say this. Now you show this thing. What computer? What Alpha Zero? You know, these guys, they were doing something, by the way, without completely understanding. Many times you win a game, you play a good game, you don't even understand yourself. You have some skepticism about certain moments of the game, unless your opponent played into something you knew and he didn't know.
I want to tell you something what occurred to me, that when we talked about young Mihail Tal, who at 18 years old, he had to play a match for right? You had Kasparov, who was obviously, he was very good at it when he was 13 years old or so on, but Carlsen, when he was 13 years old, he was getting invitations in all best tournaments in the world. He was playing in Taos Memorial, he was playing in Vikensee, he was playing everywhere whenever he wanted to play. Kasparov couldn't be allowed even to knock at the door of the tournaments for playing the best Soviet players. So different time, different competition. Kasparov, Tal, or whoever, they had so much competition. So in my opinion, in fact, if you will take 100 players 30 years ago and 100 best players today, I think these people of 90s, they would crash, not just win. They would crash today's 100 players.
We don't know. I mean, look, I am not supporting that side either. It will be tough match.
I just want to specify something. It depends when the match would take place. Because if you teleport the great guys from the past to our days, there are people who say that, okay, you should leave them 1 year to get used with the computer, to catch up with openings and so on, and then maybe they have a chance. No, but let's do it the other way. Let's take the actual top players and teleport him 40 years back without.
This is what I always say.
Without their computers, and allow them not a year, 1 month to forget everything that they learned, like this. And then we see. I think then it would be more interesting. I mean,
no, but don't be so harsh on these people either. Really, it's not like many of their success is not only the computer work or whatever. It will be, in any case. First of all, we speak about something utopic. It will never come.
Yes.
Concrete, unless look, some friends of mine, they started to call the spirits, just like Maroxy. No, but Porchnoy's case I know very well because I was also quite friendly with Velimirovich, and Velimirovich was in some of the sessions. And I checked the game, and I heard from Velimirovich. I think it was done in Netherlands, and the guy was from this whatever parapsychological society of Netherlands, and he died very early. And he told them that he may just finish the game and die, just like Retti's story. You know the Retti story, yeah? Like Retti and his friends, they visit a medium. And this guy, I don't know, is a palm reading or whatever, or is a gypsy woman, whoever, just looks at these people, including Retti, and say, like, I don't want to talk about your future. They pay her more, or they pay him more, and actually Retti left a couple of letters about it, and really, she says, like, all of you will die very young. And Retti left, I think in some book by a good Russian historian, it's written the case, and Retti sort of was afraid, I don't know, about this, and he really died early.
Of scarlatin he had.
Yeah, scarlet fever. Yeah, he had.
Yeah. And actually, Alekhine got into the same hospital during the war, also from.
Oh, he was shell shocked. Alekhine was shell shocked.
No. But I mean, he had the same disease during the war in the same hospital. But he survived.
He was too, because he was also Alekin. Alekin was seriously shell shocked. You know, there was an explosion around him, and
Really?
I mean, Alekin obviously saw a little bit more than this whole people. But now, why did I start and end up with Rita? I don't remember. We talk about many things, but.
About Medium, we were
about Medium, but I really I got carried away myself. But you know, let's not be harsh on these people either. You know, like I mean, I was talking about this openings and stuff, and my friends, some friends of mine, they had a Medium, and then they made this guy to call a chess player, and according to them, came Capablanca. Now, you know that Korchnoi didn't want to play Maroczy. He was down in the list, but Maroczy came, according to him. And now comes Capablanca. And one idiot among my friends says, like, what is the best defense to d4? And seemingly the spirit says, like, Harash defense. Probably had some futuristic stuff with Dubov. So he said, like, that, when I heard this, I said, like, whoever came had nothing to do with chess, or Capablanca would never say this.
Well, if you remember, Kasparov used to play Tarrasch defense.
And Capablanca used to play as well. And he had this horrible game with Rubinstein, like...
Yes. No, of course, people of all times, they do their best. I mean, okay, I don't have anything personally against the actual players, but of course, I get personal whenever some guy from today comes and said, oh, we are stronger than the other guys. Or like, for instance, Carlsen said that he would beat Stahl quite easily, and maybe with Fischer, he would win a little bit more difficulties. I mean, okay, I'm not sure this is true. Actually, I would vote for the others. And why would you say this? I mean, it's not really right. So
why they talk like this? This is the problem. Look, they are missing the formal education. Just give me this 100. You know, I don't care about the ratings and stuff. Who was a, graduate of university, and which university? Physical education.
There was a few years ago, there was famous Trump real estate university. Have you heard about that?
No.
Well, okay, at some other time I will let you know more about that. There were a bunch of lawsuits, it was all settled. The people were paying like $10,000, $20,000 because they were promised the best real estate education. And that best real estate education never happened, so people started asking for their money back, and the universities went bankrupt, and there were a bunch of lawsuits here. So anyway, some other time we'll talk about it. Listen, we had a fantastic conversation today, and I would like to remind that next week we have spectacular match. It will be a game between our own Suat Atalik and previous winner of Alexander Donchenko. So that will be a very interesting game. Now, there was a question, because it's only one game, who will have white pieces? So obviously white pieces would have advantage.
I think that day we decide to have a surprise,
No, you know what, I spoke to Alexander Donchenko, and the proposal was that you will play Armageddon game at the beginning, and whoever wins Armageddon game will decide which pieces in a normal game who wants to have. So if you win,
I did not know there is another Armageddon. Yes.
No.
Armageddon is always decided.
Black wins. Then black says, "Okay, I want to play white pieces, or I want to play black pieces." Well, it's
and how the colors are decided for the Armageddon game.
Well, it was random. Its computer will choose the color. Yeah, it's fair.
Okay, I mean, the same computer could have chosen without the Armageddon game.
Actually,
the colors for us.
So, do you have a preference for Armageddon, white or black?
No. I mean, look, it should be some. It's important for your site, for the audience, and okay. So just whatever comes, from the computer to, it's just. I agree.
I think it's fair for a computer to decide, because otherwise, I don't know, some people prefer white because they immediately have attack and better position and so on. And some people say, no, I'd like to have black pieces because
No, but I was always against certain things in tournaments. For instance, I played a lot of tournaments in Greece, and I was always against, this drawing of lots before the tournament itself. It happened to me that I had to play one game, with Kotronias, black, which was known before, and Kotronias could really work computer zone, and he really said, like, okay, I will play something. We had some real theoretical duel in some openings. He said, like, okay, I prepared this with computer. Okay, he will find most of the moves, but he will have time travel, and I will win at that. Kotronias was very dangerous at that time. I mean, I had Kotronias, somebody had, I don't know, whoever, Grivas, probably with the same type of preparation, the guy would make a draw with white. Now why should be given this? Why should Grivas make a draw from the big by his preparation, or by Kotronias should be? And I think whatever Doncheko said, it's fair. And still they continue in some ways. Now I read this interview of this guy Dorkovic, who says, like, team tournaments shouldn't be rated. I'm very friendly with Lubojevic, and I always meet him in Belgrade, and now I met him again. It was his suggestion that team tournaments should be rated differently. If we got Rapid, if we got Blitz, or whatever, we should also have team tournaments. Now your team captain comes and tells you, like, okay, you make a draw. Actually, you have nothing to say. He can even end the match as a draw.
Yeah. Okay. Well, listen, we'll find out how it all works next Saturday. Thank you so much for fantastic programs that we had today. And we'll see you next Saturday in combat against Alexander Doncheko. Okay. Thank you so much. It was IBM TV Chess Show. Bye-bye, everybody. See you next Saturday.
Bye.